pedicabs, I guess you would call them. And they were in and out in the traffic. And the motorbikes, everybody had a motorbike, all the families, mother and father, a couple children on the back, and some pedestrians, bicycles. It was chaos. There was a policeman standing down on the corner in his white uniform directing traffic. But they drove by the sound of their horn and not the signal of the officer. And so all these noises that I'm observing and feeling and hearing. After an orientation in Saigon, I went up to Da Nang, 500 miles to the north of Saigon. It was a coastal city, a city that was evidence of war all around. There were military vehicles, military uniforms. It obviously was a place that had known tragedy. And I was sent there to work with civilian casualties. Now, the mandate of the Public Health Service is public health. Well, I don't think they envisioned sending teams of public health officers off to war. We weren't there to fight. But they didn't even want us to wear our uniforms because they were military-style uniforms. They didn't want us known as military people. We were there as a compassionate arm of our federal government. And we are a compassionate people. And we don't like suffering. And we want to do what we can to help. And that's why we went. I got to Da Nang, and they said, would you like to come and take a look at the hospital? Well, sure. You want to look at the place you're going to be working in. I don't know if you've seen hospitals in third world countries. They're not like ours. There are bugs all over. It's a tropical climate. The air conditioners, at least the one we had in our operating room, tried valiantly to keep up with the temperature, but it was hot, it was sticky, there were still bugs. The equipment we had originally had been good, American, U.S. surgical equipment, but it had been in use for several years and was kind of the worse for wear. And it had succumbed to the rigors of the climate. And we didn't, but this is what we had to work with. The fighting was starting to well, I should tell you first about who did we have on this team. We usually had 3 surgeons, sometimes only 2. We had 2 operating room nurses, 2 ward nurses, a lab tech, a x-ray tech, and a supply fellow that took care of ordering our supplies. And this was our team. And on March 8th of 1965, I had been there about a month. And all of a sudden, the war escalated. And the Marines arrived on the beaches of Da Nang. The beaches of Da Nang are lovely sand beaches right on the ocean side. Lovely. You go a few miles interior, into the jungle, into the mountains, and it's chaos. It's enemy territory, so to speak. But our job was to take care of not the military, because our military was establishing hospitals. There was a Navy hospital that had sprung up in Da Nang. They were caring for our casualties. But there are other casualties, and every afternoon, the trucks rolled in. These were big Army military trucks driven by Vietnamese military. And they came, pulled up, and the contents of those trucks, the beds were filled with civilian casualties. Many of these people had been en route for several days. They couldn't travel at night. They came from villages and homes, bamboo homes with thatched roofs. They had burns, they had fractures, they had head wounds, chest wounds, abdominal wounds, extremities. And as our Vietnamese helpers and ourselves unloaded these trucks, we visually separated them. This person needs to go to the operating room right now. This one, get an IV started, get some antibiotics, this person will have to wait. And day and into the long evenings, we worked. If they made it to our hospital, we had very few people that succumbed after that. They were a resilient people. They were not complaining. They were not hysterical. They were grateful to see us. And we felt honored to be able to serve them, take care of them, express to them that the United States is just not a people that is out to kill and to experience war, but also to experience the love and the humanity of the American people. Life was, for us, it was not difficult. We lived in a reasonable quarters. We had another member of the team and I shared a house. I'm not sure what my parents, I was in my early 30s, so they weren't, I'm not sure how they felt about my going to Vietnam. They never expressed themselves. Of course, they probably were concerned, but they too shared my vision that there was work to be done, and I felt I was able to do my part, and I volunteered. Now, the Public Health Service, as we mentioned, is a uniformed service of about 6,000 commissioned people. We have those from all walks of the medical profession, and we work as a team. You may see them around. They wear a uniform that looks really identical to the Navy uniform, only with the Public Health Service insignias. Well, Vietnam has a very special place in my life. Well, for one thing, I met a fellow, I met him at the Officers Club in the dining room. He had just arrived and we were talking, and he was talking about wanting to learn better Vietnamese, and I said, oh, well, I've got a whole series of Foreign Service Institute language tapes. Would you like to borrow them? Oh, he said, that'd be wonderful. I gave him my address, which was right down the street, and we started our courtship. After I was discharged from the Public Health Service, we had made arrangements to be married in Hong Kong. And the reason we didn't get married in Vietnam was it's a lengthy process. You go from office to office to office and having papers stamped, and you're never sure which day you finally got married, but it was one of those 3 days probably. So we went to Hong Kong. Our marriage license is written in Chinese and in English. And Fred has a paper now that specifies he married a spinster, which was the word for a single woman. Well, I get reminded of that occasionally. We went back to Vietnam again a total of 3 different times. I went back as a wife to Fred, who was still working for Air America. The third time we went back as a family, the two of us, to work with a missionary organization serving the Montagnard or the tribal people. During that time, our path crossed a 6-month-old baby who 2 weeks previously had been orphaned. Her parents were, her father was a sergeant in the Vietnamese army. The base was overrun. He lost his life, as did his wife, because the families were all right there on the base. How this 6-month-old baby was spared was only an act of God, I'm sure. We adopted her. She grew up right here, went to George Mason, Marshall High School. She's now 37 years old. She looks Vietnamese, but she acts American. I just want to say in closing that thank you for allowing me to go to Vietnam. You have lost some of your brothers, some of your maybe fathers, other relatives, neighbors, schoolmates. And war is never easy, nor can we always understand it. But I felt I had an obligation to go and show the love of the Lord, really, to people that needed it. It didn't make any difference what the color of their skin was. We got them all cleaned up. I might just add one comment about what a hospital looks like. We soon didn't have enough beds. When you think of a hospital, you think of nice hospital beds. These were cots, metal cots, narrow, not very big, maybe this one. We didn't have room for everybody in a bed, so what did we do? We put one at the head and one at the foot. So their legs were, but they were each in a bed. And then when that ran out, the U.S. military gave us a huge tent, which we erected in the yard, and then we filled the tent. But thank you for allowing me to go, and thank you for allowing me to be here with you today. And we give honor to all of these veterans, and not just the veterans, but the families too. Thank you.